It's the first one of these we've had in our inventory, and I'm super excited. It's an off-roading monster. It's the 2024 Ford Bronco Everglades. That means I'm not gonna know everything about this vehicle, but I did know somebody who was. Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Brian. How are you?
Good. Patrick Sweeney's a salesman here at Smail Ford in Greensburg, and we're gonna do this test drive together.
Let's go.
If you're interested in this Bronco, come see us at smailford.com. Now let's look at the exterior here, Patrick. What is this called?
Exterior color is shadow black.
Wow, and first thing I'm noticing there on the side is that Everglades logo and Sasquatch underneath it, right?
Yeah, so Everglades is your trim level, and then Sasquatch is a package that you can get within the Everglades trim level, gets you the bigger 35-inch tires.
So coming around the front of the vehicle, you notice the Bronco logo blacked out there in the front. Everything just really blacked out, looking really nice and together. Your winch there in the front?
Yep, yeah. So you ever get stuck off-roading?
That's really cool. Or hey, if somebody else gets stuck and you need to pull them out, right?
Yeah.
So also coming around the side, you'll notice the roof rails up top. Of course, this is really high up here, but the roof can actually come off on these, right?
Yeah, the whole thing. The doors can come off too, yeah.
Okay, all right. So definitely you can have a really fun time customizing the exterior for whatever situation you're in, you know what I mean? Just really cool. Coming around the back side, we'll notice the Bronco logo on the right side, Ford logo on the left, and that giant spare on the back, right? Yeah. That's a full size, it looks like.
Full size, 35-inch size tire spare, yeah.
Looks like you have some hooks down there as well as your hitch, all that with some sensors. So to get into the trunk, I'm just gonna pull the handle back here, bottom pulls out, top looks like it's gonna pull up here.
Yep.
You obviously have a lot of space in here. You actually have, does this come with it? It's like an all-weather mat back here?
So this is actually a slide-out tailgate.
No way! Yep. Oh, that's so cool.
Which can support up to, I think, about 400 pounds.
Okay, so if you need to like work on anything, you have a mobile workstation here, right? Yep. That's really cool. Yeah, it just slides right back in. You obviously have harder surfaces all throughout, very easy to clean.
Yeah, and then those are your bags for your doors and your roof.
Okay.
Which is nice.
Yeah, you can bundle them up, make sure they're safe. Anything else in this trunk that oh, here we go, right back here. We have a 12-volt charger back here for anytime you need it, some lights. Pretty cool trunk. Let's jump into the back seats and see what we got back there. So jumping into the back seats, we obviously have these harder, tougher looking doors. You have some handles to grip onto, as well as these black and gray seats. Anything special about them?
Yeah, so it's marine grade vinyl seats, which is a lot more durable to your elements when you have the roof off.
You know, I just noticed something really cool. If we look down here, you have plugs, right?
Yep.
This will help drain the vehicle from water. That's really neat. So jumping in, I'm gonna grab the handle here and pull myself up inside. Obviously you have on the back of these seats some places where you can hang some things. You obviously have a little pouch on both of the seats. You also have in the middle here buttons for your windows, right? And you have a USB-C, a USB-A, and a 110 3-prong house outlet back here. Of course, when we're talking about room and space here, we want to mention that this part does come off, right? Mm-hmm. This back portion looks like it's one big section, right?
Yeah, so it comes off in total 4 separate pieces.
Let's look into this armrest real quick. You have 2 cup holders back here in this armrest. And so here we go. We got a pretty heavy duty back seat. Let's see if the rest of the car is the same way. Let's jump up front. So getting in the Bronco Everglades for the first time, there's a lot of stuff around us here, Patrick. I'm really excited to get into this. So let's start the vehicle up. I'm just gonna go and put my foot on the brake, hit the engine start stop button. Everything's gonna light up here. We have a lot of stuff in front of us here. Obviously a digital display with your miles per hour on a dial on the left-hand side, right?
Yep.
And what else can you display up here?
So you can look at your off-road rotation just by going through the steering wheel here, tire pressure, little stuff like that on the side. Trip monitors, obviously all the normal stuff, fuel economy. And you can go through within this menu change out a whole bunch of different configurations too. I mean, there's tons of stuff to look at.
Looks like there's about a million things you could do up there. Obviously, let's look at the steering wheel real quick. We have the Bronco logo there in the center. On the left-hand side, looks like we have a lot of our safety features, our cruise control settings, and our audio settings. On the right side of the steering wheel, looks like we have our phone button, our push-to-talk button. Does this have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto?
Yep, it's wireless, yep.
Great, so wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto in this device, which means that you can make phone calls, send text messages, leave yourself reminders. You can use your navigation from your phone all on the infotainment screen up here, but this is your push-to-talk button for that. So you can even listen to like your own music if you use apps like Spotify. It's really cool. Really increases the versatility of the vehicle.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So looking over here at the infotainment screen, huge screen. Definitely, you're not going to miss anything on this screen for sure. Obviously, you can display everything that we said before with the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all your phone settings. It has navigation in this model, different apps that you can use here. You can even go into your settings and change different things. You have different vehicle settings and things like that in there. Let's talk about what's up here, because it looks like we have a bunch of different all-wheel drive settings, right?
Yeah, so it's the first two are this is to lock your front differential, which obviously you see on there. It won't do it until you're in four-wheel drive. Okay. That's obviously for going off-road, driving on normal pavement, you don't need to do that. And then locking your rear differential, same idea. You can do that in the two-wheel drive if you need to. Okay. Again, just help you get more traction off-road. I wouldn't do it on normal pavement. Can cause issues if you do. And then this one right here, it's actually a trail turn assist. What's cool about that is if you off-road a lot, you're going down a narrow corner or a tight bend, whatever the case may be, that trail turn assist helps you get around the corner by locking either rear wheel to help kind of spin the back end around.
Yeah. And it looks like you have your stability control off as well as your four-way flashers up there. Yeah. You obviously have your volume controls and your tuning for that. Looks like you have the idle engine off button here as well. Yep. You can just turn that off like so. Below that, we have our AC controls. Pretty self-explanatory. Looks like for the driver and passenger, you have heated seats. Looking down here, you have a USB-A and a USB-C port, as well as a little cubby for storing stuff. So down here by the shifter, it says designed and engineered in Dearborn, Michigan, right? So that's pretty cool. You know, it's built in the USA. You obviously have the shifter here, and you have park, reverse, neutral, drive, and manual. And it looks like you have some little knobs up here to switch that.
Just to shift the gears, yeah.
Then we have our go over any terrain modes, right? Yeah. So we have 2-wheel, 4-wheel, 4A, and 4L, right? You also have in the center there, the button is the trail control.
Mm-hmm. So that's almost like your cruise control for off-road. So obviously your cruise control is your higher speeds. The trail control is for lower speeds, like 10 miles an hour, whatever the case may be.
Well, that's really cool. All that right there easily, you just turn the dial. If we look up on the dashboard, whenever I turn that, you can actually change your modes. You have Eco, Sport, Slippery, Mud Ruts, you have Sand, and Rock Crawl. But if I go all the way over here to the left, there's your normal mode. So definitely a ton of different modes for whatever situation you're in. Maybe we'll test some of those out on the test drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So right here, you actually have your window controls, right? Yep. Because this vehicle, the top can come off, you have all of your window controls here in the center.
And the doors can come off too.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yep. So that's your mirrors. Okay. Obviously, the mirrors aren't attached to the doors if you see, but that way if you take the doors off, normally your mirror controls is on the door over there. So if you take your door off, you still have access to change your mirrors.
That's great. In the armrest, you have a lot of space down here in the armrest, and you have a 12-volt charger in there as well. Looking up top, we obviously have all of our auxiliary ports here. And what are those for?
So if you wire in, different off-road lights, if you put spotlights on, a light bar, anything like that, you can turn them on by flipping the switches here. And you have 6 of them that you wire in under the hood.
And if we look up, You can actually see how the roof comes off, right? You have little latches here and back here to kind of, you twist that, and then this just comes right off.
Yeah.
So pretty self-explanatory there, but really cool. All right, well, that's a lot of features here on this vehicle. Let's go ahead and get this thing out on the road and test some of these out. All right, so we're in sport mode. We're getting out onto the highway here. And I'll tell you what, for as big as this vehicle is, it got us right up to speed.
Yeah, yeah. It's got a 2.3 liter turbocharged engine, so that turbo definitely helps out for the size of it.
I do have a vehicle approaching on the left-hand side. Whenever somebody is there, it's gonna light up in the mirror. If I turn on my turn signal, that's gonna flash at me and alert me, hey, don't make that left-hand turn, there's somebody in my blind spot, right? Nice to have with a larger vehicle like this, just looking out for your blind spots. We have the lane keep assist active right now. I'm just gonna inch over here to the right side of the lane. And what it's doing is just turning the wheel and nudging me back into the lane. And I can tell that that's active because on the dashboard, it also shows me. Patrick, as far as warranty goes for the Bronco, do you know what the warranty is?
Bumper to bumper is 3 year 36,000. Then your powertrain's 5 year 60. So one thing you get for buying from Smail is you get free lifetime state inspection for as long as you own the vehicle, which is nice.
Driving here on the road, I do feel like I'm up a lot higher than the other vehicles on the road. I feel like, you know, like this is a much higher ride, a much more absorbent ride. Like I'm not noticing the bumps in the road as much either, you know?
Right, yeah, so it's the Everglades has a what's called a Sasquatch package, which gives you the 35-inch tires, so bigger tires, that's why you're sitting up a little higher, and then a little bit of upgraded suspension. I believe they call it like position sensitive shocks, Bilstein shocks, so that's why when we're going over these bumps, it's not nearly as aggressive as other vehicles.
So Patrick, obviously we have a larger vehicle, great for off-roading. Is there anything special about this package that you get with it for off-roading?
Yeah, so the biggest thing you'll see on the outside on the passenger side is you have a big snorkel that's attached to the engine compartment. That is for, you know, when you're going off-road, you can go into water as deep as 36 inches. Yeah, that way the snorkel gives the engine still oxygen and everything to continue running. And then on the front, on our front bumper, it comes with a winch, so if you get stuck, you're able to pull yourself out too.
So Patrick, let's check out this backup camera. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the vehicle into reverse, and you can see first thing as I turn the wheel, you have projected lines that kind of change as we go in reverse, and I change the wheel. You have a line for your hitch, and whenever you get close to an object, you have sensors back there, right? The closer you get, the louder it beeps.
The louder it gets, the color changes a little bit too.
Yeah. You have some other views here. You can look straight down. Whenever I turn the wheel, it's gonna line up the hitch. And those parking sensors make it a real cinch to really park safely. If you have vehicles driving on either side behind you, does it have cross traffic monitor?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's good. That's looking out for you in so many different ways whenever you're in reverse. So man, is this vehicle loaded with a ton of really great off-roading features. Just a really exceptional drive for me here today. Patrick, if they have any questions for you, how can they contact you?
You can either come visit us at our new Ford store in Route 30 in Greensburg, or visit us online at smailford.com.
That's going to do it for our test drive today. So until next time, enjoy the ride.